The most important thing right now is that we have fair trade. And if you see what's happened with other countries, particularly China, and everything from currency manipulation to patent infringement to putting artificial barriers in place to the transshipment, all these things have been discussed and covered at length, that we have to take serious action to finally rein this in. Otherwise, we can't sustain with these kind of trade imbalances. So I appreciate the president in standing strong on this, again, particularly with respect to China. And I think what it may do is obviously allow more manufacturing here in the U.S., but also throughout the entire Western Hemisphere.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, Congressman. That's one thing I've heard from CEOs for years that don't like tariffs, against our EU partners or Canada. They've all said that China's been ripping us off for years. Do you think how hard do you think the president should press China on the issue of tariffs and currency manipulation and these other issues that CEOs have been complaining about for a very long time?
I think he should continue to lean in like he's doing. I think taking this strong stand is what's finally brought China to the table. I mean, you served in Congress a couple of decades ago. You know that was a discussion even then, particularly in the early 2000s, as China's economy was developing. But it's only gotten worse over time with the games that they play. And so I think that's important that we do things to stabilize trade with our allies. But at the same time, with countries that are playing games, manipulating, again, China top of the list, that we put these plans in place. And I got to say, I mean, it's been tough, but the president has laid out, I think, particularly now, a very good plan to get us there.
Yeah, a couple decades ago, very long time ago. But I'll tell you, even back then, we would be fighting against MFN for China. Congress still passed it, despite the fact they were stealing our technology, despite the fact there was religious persecution, despite the fact that they never met any of the targets that we laid out. I'm curious about the budget bill. You're right, I was in Congress, and I was in Congress at the time where Republicans fought hard to balance a budget 4 years in a row, and we did that. There are a lot of Republican senators deeply concerned about the explosion of the debt over the next decade if this bill passes. What do you say to them?
Well, I would say, first of all, the last time that actually the budget was balanced was in 2001, which I think we were still in Congress then. Ever since then, it's been out of balance. But there's been, in all fairness, there's been some things that have happened that have affected that. Of course, 9/11, which resulted in a necessity to spend a lot of money that was not on the radar, so to speak. And then also with what happened with the recession in 08 and 09. And then, of course, more recently with COVID, with what we saw happen. What I would point to on this bill, though, is if you go back to the TCJA, back before pre-COVID, economic growth was at 2.9%, which is a great number. The reason I mention that is that gives you kind of an idea of what you can expect in growth with the reauthorization of TCJA before COVID. Because if you look at the numbers that the CBO's given, much has been said about this $20 trillion debt. That is assuming an absolutely anemic rate of growth that we just don't generally see right now. We would not expect. The Budget Committee estimated 2.6%. And so even using a 2.6, which we believe is conservative, you don't have this deficit. You move forward, you end up dealing with the debt. And finally, after at least 2 decades of this not being dealt with effectively for either extraneous factors or whatever, a real serious attempt to move this forward and to reduce taxes. And another thing in this budget bill, too, that's very important that doesn't get talked about a lot is allowing more energy exploration and energy production. Because I'll tell you, if we do that, and we become an energy exporter once again, that's going to do so much to lower inflation and to increase our GDP. All of those are things that will bear positively toward dealing with this national debt, which I think is an absolutely critical issue.
Congressman, talk to us, if you will, about what your constituents are saying about fears of rising prices. That was such a central part of President Trump's campaign last year. He vowed to bring them down. That's been mixed results on that to this point. And there's been reporting that he's growing anxious about getting some of these trade deals, suggesting that, well, maybe these tariffs do need to come back, maybe even go up higher, which inevitably would raise some prices at home, at least on some products. What are your voters, the people you see each and every day in your North Carolina district, saying about that?
Well, folks saw for 4 years under President Biden an absolutely parabolic increase in inflation. Everything from the gas pump to power bills to, just common goods that you buy, your groceries, you name it. And so they saw that. Once President Trump was elected into office, you started seeing things plateau, and they've actually dropped. The things that matter to consumers, they feel like their dollar goes further now. But you know what? It's going to take a while to get us through this. And I think one of the best things we can do is to get this bill, in its current form, or, if the Senate modifies it, whatever, get that passed, because that's going to be the shot in the arm that we need to move the economy forward, to, in fact, deal affirmatively with making sure that we bring inflation down. Because, it's a real thing. Folks are, wages have gone up as well. In fact, one of the positive things from the last TCJA were that you saw real wage growth among Americans of roughly 5% as a result of that spur that happened to the economy. Can you imagine now what good a shape we would have been but for COVID? COVID was the thing that just was like the nuke that went off and messed the economy up. But, we rebounded. The economy's coming back slowly. And I would submit to you that once we pass this, once we pass these tax cuts, once this investment in energy and reforming the out-of-control spending, that you're going to see the economy do even better.
I talked before about concerns in the Senate from Republicans, concerns I share also about the national debt. It's currently at $37 trillion. Another thing that you're hearing from Senate Republicans that they're worried about, something that obviously you would worry about in your district and they'd worry about in my old district, Medicaid funding. There's always been this belief that Medicaid is just for urban centers. It's not. Rural hospitals depend a great deal on Medicaid. Talk about the concerns that from Josh Hawley to, I believe, also Ron Johnson, others who are very concerned about the Medicaid spending cuts. What would you say to them? Why should they vote for the bill? And what would you say to your constituents who are also concerned about cuts in Medicaid and rural health care?
Right. Well, I'll say that in my time in the state legislature, 10 years of which I was Speaker of the House, I'm very proud of the initiatives that we took to expand access to health care in a lot of different ways. Right. And I will tell you that this bill actually is a good step forward in trying to deal with the waste, the fraud, and the abuse. Now, those words get thrown around a lot, but what do we mean by that? All right. First of all, on the waste, there is truly a lot of waste. There's a lot of overbilling. There's a lot of money that's spent at the administrative level dealing with that. This bill creates the framework to deal with that. Secondly, when it comes to fraud, we know there are folks who are in the country illegally who are getting Medicaid. That simply should not happen. If someone's here illegally, they should not be getting Medicaid, period. End of story on that. And then we know there are folks who are receiving Medicaid fraudulently, where they have lied and they don't qualify, but they've gamed the system to get it. That can be dealt with. That produces billions of savings as well. And then the third thing are those folks that are able-bodied, that usually younger males, right? They're not, it's not like a single mom who's trying to take care of a child. They're younger males. They have no disability, no infirmity, nothing that would prevent them from working. Putting in place in those work requirements to make sure that folks who are able-bodied are not getting it. But what I want to see is a robust and a strong Medicaid program that truly takes care of those who need it. Folks who have disabilities and in conditions where they cannot take care of themselves, or a single parent trying to raise a child, that they need to be home for that child. Because what you really have right now, frankly, is the worst of both worlds. You have what, and a lot of folks would say, is subpar medical treatment for the Medicaid population. If you look at determinants of health outcomes, if you look at cardiovascular disease, all of those things, if you look at those, that population, even those that have Medicaid, in some ways perform worse than some of the just uninsured population. And so there are other initiatives. This doesn't get talked about a lot. It just gets talked about in the big picture. But, there's funds that can be put into things like federally qualified health centers that are particularly important for rural areas where you don't have access to primary care, that operate outside of the Medicaid sphere. So There are ways to reform health care without just throwing money down a program that, frankly, just isn't working right now. But at the same time, making sure we take care of our medically fragile population and those who need the help.
All right, Republican Congressman Tim Moore of North Carolina, thank you so much for being with us. Greatly appreciate it.